Hola Year 10. Welcome to week 4. So, just like in week 2, there is a worksheet that complements this lesson. So, if you're able to go into our Microsoft Teams channel and print off that worksheet, which is in the file section, then it'll make your life a lot easier. Also, for this week, just like in previous weeks, there is an extra little worksheet on specifically on writing. So if you have a look at that, there's a model 150 word answer for you to have a closer look at, which is really helpful for writing. And there's also going to be a bit of a writing at the end of this lesson, so it goes well with that. So the start of this week is just to think about the difference between present tense weather expressions and future tense weather expressions. So if you just match up the Spanish to the English. So pause the video and have a go at matching up those. Okay, so you probably will have noticed that half of them start with ara, and then there's also hace. So ara is going to be our future tense weather expression to say it will be. This literally means, this is from the verb hacer, which literally means to do or to make. So this literally means it will do wind. But in English we wouldn't ever say it will do wind, we'd say it will be windy. So hará viento is it will be windy. Hace viento then is it is windy. And just like hará means it will do, this is the present tense, this means it does wind. But obviously we wouldn't ever say it does wind, we'd say it is. And hace sol is going to be it is sunny. And then hará sol, it will be sunny. And then llueve, it's going to be it is raining. And then lloverá, it will rain. You will hopefully also have seen that the future tense ones all end in an A with an accent. And that's because this is the he, she, it form of the verb. And like we learnt last week, the he, she, it form of the future tense ends in an A with an accent. And you leave the infinitive as it is. So llover is the verb to rain, and then you added on an A to make it will rain. So the next little starter, again, this is using a lot of the vocab we saw last time, and weeks 3 and 4 is we're kind of focusing on the same vocab. So in your facts book, you'll see that weeks 3 and 4 come into the same section. So you've got a lot of the vocab you need in your fact book to look back on for support. So you've got a Spanish text here and a bad English translation here. So find the 9 mistakes in the English translation. First of all, look out for so verb endings. So this here is ire, so it ends in an E with an accent, so it's going to be I, so I will go. So make sure it says I will go in the English translation. It doesn't say something like we will go. So yeah, read through both the texts, maybe do a sentence at a time, and find the 9 mistakes. So pause the video now. Okay, so those are the mistakes in bold. So before we go through what they all mean, I'd like you to have a go at correcting the English translation. So looking at the bold bit here, so it's mañana si hace buen tiempo, and here the translation is tomorrow the weather will be good. So correct this bit in bold to what it should be, looking at the bit in bold in the Spanish text. So pause the video and see if you can correct the English translation. So the English translation actually says, so this is si hace buen tiempo. Si, we learnt last time, means if. So the word if isn't here. So this is the present tense. This is the future tense. So it's saying will. But this is not in the future tense. This is just tomorrow if the weather is good. So tomorrow if the weather is good, the next bit's fine. However, if it rains, we will. So this means if it's cloudy. And this is me quedaré, not we will stay at home. This is just I will stay at home. So it should be I will, not we will. And then the next little bit. Hará sol. So sol means sun. So this is saying it will be sunny, not hot. So, visitaré. I will visit, not we will visit. And swim in the mar. I will swim, nadaré, with an E on the end. En el mar, not the pool. So this is, the mar is the sea. Hará calor, so it will be hot, not sunny. Tarde, so tarde means like afternoon or evening, not night. And then comeremos, and anywhere you see a mos, that's always a we. So this is we will eat churros, not I will eat churros. So if we're looking a bit closely at all of the tenses we've seen so far, these are your endings for the first person, so for the I form. So the present tense I visit is visito with an O. Preterite to say I visited, E with an accent. Imperfect is used to. And these are all with AR verbs, by the way, so ER verb and IR verbs will look a little different. He visitado, this is a more complicated one we learnt fairly recently, meaning I have visited. So the part here means I have, and then you take off the AR ending of the infinitive and add on ado if it's a AR verb. This is the really easy near future tense. I'm going to voy a with the whole infinitive, and then the more recent tense we learnt, visitaré, so where you leave the whole infinitive, add on an E with an accent, and then it becomes we will visit. So, have a go at making some notes, matching the Spanish verb with its translation here, and then your notes here you can use for the next activity. So maybe highlight the ending, so highlight the O, highlight the E, the ABBA, and then match it with the English translation here. So pause the video, do that. So visito is going to be I visit. Visité, I visited. Visitaba, I used to visit. He visitado, I have visited. Voy a visitar, I am going to visit. And then visitaré, I will visit. So use your notes here that you've made for the next activity. And again, we're just focusing on the I form because that's the most important one that you get right. And again, these are just AR verbs. So we're going to use these verbs here, descansar, which means to relax, comprar, to buy, and encontrar, which means to find. So I want you to use your notes from this slide to translate this. So the infinitive is given to you there, encontrar. So how are we going to change this infinitive to make it I have found? So if we do the first one together, so that I have is the perfect form. So you're always going to need this, because this means I have. You take the infinitive, which ends in an AR, take off the AR, and add on ado. So the first one's going to be he encontrado. So do numbers 2 to 8 now as well. And the challenge is to have a go at these verbs here, which are in forms other than the first person. So it's just like we, he, she, they. And the help for this, support for this, I've put the verb tables in Microsoft Teams. So if you go into our group, you'll see in the files section, you'll be able to download the verb tables to have a go at this. So pause the video now and have a go at conjugating these verbs and also the challenge ones. So here are your answers to check the work. So pause the video and check what you've done. This is now for ER and IR verbs. So the same thing you did for the ER verbs. Just match up the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So pause the video and do that now, please. So bebo is going to be I drink. Present tense, bebi, I drank. Bebia, I used to drink. You'll see that this form is a lot different to the AR verb. He bebido, I have drunk. Voy a beber, I'm going to drink. And then beberé, I will drink. And if we just speak about the differences, so that these are the AR verbs here, and this is the ER and IR verbs. So the present tense is the same. It's always going to end in an O if it's the I form. Here it's an I with an accent. There it's an E with an accent. This is like a big difference. A bebia, I used to drink, instead of aba for the AR verb. E is the same for all kinds of verbs, and this is ido instead of ado. Voy a beber, really nice and easy. Then beberé is exactly the same as well. So these are the endings which you need to be confident with. Okay, so the same thing with these verbs. So you've got the verb ver, to watch, salir and leer. So translate all of these if we do one together. So if we do I watched, that's going to be the preterite tense. So it's going to be this one here. So it's going to be with a I. So you take off the ER ending and just add an I. And it's this is irregular, so you don't actually need the accent. It's just B without an accent, so VI. B. Okay, so pause the video. Have a go at those. And here are your answers. Okay, so we're going to do a reading now. And there's two different texts for higher and foundation. So you can choose to either do the higher on this page or the foundation on this page. I don't mind which one you do, whichever you feel more confident with, have a go at. But this activity here in the yellow, so the second activity, everyone is going to use the higher text. So if you've been able to print out the worksheet, then you will already have seen that this text. But make sure you're working from either the higher or the foundation. It will say at the top of the page, higher or foundation. So the first activity is just to answer these questions here. And then this translation, all of the vocab you need is in the text. So it's just about putting different parts of the text together to make this text here. So if we just talk through these questions here, so for the higher, name 3 things Juliana has already done. They go in order, by the way. So if you find this answer, number 3, 1 and 2 is going to be before that in the text. So maybe just thinking about a little bit of exam technique. So three things she's already done. This tense here, has done, in English is the perfect tense. So that's the same as this one here, I have read. So you might find an answer if you see say I have. Or you might look for the ending of either or other on the end of a verb to see, to find the answer. And then I think the rest of the questions are pretty straightforward. So if you're going to do the higher and you haven't got the worksheet printed out, then you need to pause the video now and do this. And if you're doing foundation, this is your text. So first of all, answer these questions. So finish off the translation. So read the text and finish off the translation. So if it's sunny on Monday, Juliana will. And then it will say here what she'll do. So carry it on in English. And then your second activity is using the higher text. So just go back to this and have a go at this translation here. So pause the video now and have a go at that. So for higher, here are your answers. So number 1 is 3 things Juliana has already done. So this question here, ya has visto, means like have you already seen the Pico del Teide and the Parque Nacional? And they say yes. So they've seen these things, and also hemos pasado un día en la playa, so we've spent a day at the beach. Why does Elena suggest going to the zoo on Tuesday? So martes is Tuesday, so today's Tuesday. According to the pronostico, like the forecast, weather forecast, it will be windy on the coast, so it will be better to go to the zoo than the beach. So they're going to the zoo because it will be windy on the coast. 3, where does Elena think they should go tomorrow and why? So there's the word for tomorrow, mañana. And she says, ¿Por qué no vamos a la cueva del viento? So why don't we go to the cueva del viento? And the reason why is a little tricky, but hope you might have been able to work it out with this word looks a bit like importante. Like, so el tiempo, the weather, no nos importará. Like, the weather won't matter. It won't be important, like what the weather does. 4, what is the weather forecast for Thursday? So jueves is the word for Thursday. Será muy variable. It will be very variable. And será is a really good verb to know, meaning it will be. So the present tense is es, it is. Future tense, será, it will be. And then the past tense would be fue or era, meaning it was. Also, you need 3 details. So it will be variable, cloudy, so habrá nubes, and chubascos. We actually saw that in our first module of Year 10, and it means like downpours. Number 5, what are the 2 options for Thursday? So they're gonna iremos a Santa Cruz. So we will go to Santa Cruz. If it's not windy, we will be able to do paddle surf, and if it's too windy, we'll do canoeing. So the answers are all here, by the way, written down. And then give 2 details about the plan for Juliana's last day. So último día, this word here is a big false friend. It doesn't mean ultimate, it means last. So Friday will be your last day. How sad. Sí, pero iremos al centro comercial. So we will go to the shopping centre, and you will be able to buy presents for your family. And then the answers for the foundation. Juliana will go to the beach if it's sunny. So, si hace sol, iré a la playa. She will go to the cinema instead if it rains. So, si llueve, if it rains, I will go to the cinema to see a film. In Santa Cruz, Juliana and Elena will go on a boat trip. So, haré una excursión en barco if it's not, si no hace viento, if it's not windy. Number 4, in case of bad weather, so mal tiempo is bad weather, we will do a excursión en autobús. So they'll do the trip, they'll do like a tour or a trip on bus, by bus. And then number 5, on the last day, Juliana will. I will buy souvenirs and presents for the family. And this word here, ultimo, is, I just pointed it out in the foundation answers. This is a massive false friend. So this means last and not ultimate. So if we go through the translation, so this translation was the same for higher and foundation. So you were using the vocab in the text to make this. So this is the Spanish, if you want to check your work. And the last activity is a writing. So you've got the things you need to mention here, and then you've got some sentence starters if you need them here. I would also like you to try and use se puede from week 2, and also a really nice thing to start to use now is será, to say how it will be. So to include opinions in the future tense. Also, try and involve basically anything from this lesson. So try and add in another example of the perfect tense. So this is I have already visited. You could say I have already seen, or you could say I've already played. You could say expand with another verb. So he visto is I have seen. So this is I still haven't seen. Se hace buen tiempo if the weather's good. You can also get in another tense here. So try and get in like an example of a past tense, even if it's just one verb. Si llueve is if it rains, and then el último día is on the last day. So most of this will obviously be in the future tense, with it saying will here, but there's no reason why you can't add in different tenses just to practice. And I think I'll also set up on Microsoft Teams an assignment where you can post this writing so you can get some feedback on it, and I'll look into that, and I'll put instructions of where to send this bit of writing on Microsoft Teams. So look out on the Spanish channel to see where you need to send this. And to finish, just showing the page for week 3 and 4 in the fact book. So this is the vocab to learn. Obviously you've got these irregular ones here. These aren't yet, these are just the infinitive, so these aren't yet in the future tense, but your verb table for the future tense is actually just below it in the fact book, so you just add on whatever ending it says to say, for example, I will go will be iré, I will play, jugaré, subiré, but if you would say like we will see or watch, it will be veremos. So that's your learning for this week.